All right, good morning, everyone. Oh, it's low again. All right, hold on one sec. Let me adjust this real fast. Sound settings. Manage microphone. I don't know why that resets overnight. It's kind of weird. I got in a better habit. I used to just leave the PC running all the time, but at night now I try to put it into sleep mode. Right? Not that I think it's not bad, but it's weird. It keeps resetting everything every morning. It's and I thought I got everything, but obviously I did not. Sorry about that. So lots of movement today. Or actually in the overnight, really. Last night when I checked it, it was, there was basically flat for the most part, and then woke up and it's wow, look at this, man. Lots of movement. A lot of things that we had talked about too. Again, it's basically the dollar retracement that we had talked about. We said that we had been waiting for it to kind of kick in. Whenever you see that much, really not that much. I don't know. You get a few days of weakness, you need to have some type of retracement. That's just what standard is. So there's no major surprises or anything there. All right. Obviously, 126 down is above what an ATR is for the dollar yen. I'm sorry, the euro yen. 124 also, again, big for the pound dollar. Dollar yen 38, which again, it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't say it's earth shattering, but again, it is a bit of a retrace. Dollar Swiss up 43. So Swiss has been one that's been a little bit more interesting to play. And again, I don't know if you guys saw that dollar Swiss pair that we got asked to check yesterday. It's about halfway to profit target. It bounced actually there pretty quick and then just kind of stabilized to that level. So, I forget who asked about it, but I think it was Saul. If pound Swiss was one that you're in, again, you may want to think about taking it off because it's just kind of run out of oomph at this point. Dollar CAD up 50 again. Like I said, that's been one that's been kind of bouncing. We had a kind of a long shot trade on that one yesterday. Ended up kind of hitting the level and bouncing back again, but then got busted through. Saka. Okay, there you go. Saka Cash. That was you that asked about that one, right? About pound Swiss? I think that was you. I'm almost positive. It was 24 hours ago, so I barely know what I'm doing now anyway. Okay, good. Aussie dollar down 44. Okay, that's respectable. Again, it's not a full ATR in 24 hours, but it's respectable. Euro pound, again, a little bit more of that pound strength coming in, European weakness, and then obviously the pound yen is more of a yen story than I would say a pound story. I mean, you may see that and be like, oh my God, look at that. That's down big, right? But not really. I mean, I guess, yeah, it is negative versus the dollar versus the U.S. And again, those are both U.S.-based pairs. It is down, obviously, versus New Zealand. Again, another commodity-based pair. And then again, it is down versus the Swiss, right? Again, that's, again, that is that kind of the Swiss play. And, I would say, yes, there is minor pound weakness, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, short it now. Like the Aussie right now definitely has weakness, right? Every pair that the Aussie is in is down, right? Down confirmed, pretty much across the board. Even the Aussie New Zealand is not confirmed right now. It is, sideways, but then the 30 and 5 is confirmed to the downside. And then, again, European weakness as well. So I would say Aussie is probably the biggest down, followed by the euro, followed by the pound. The CAD. CAD is showing strength as well, pretty much across the board. So, again, we'll go to the scanner in 1 second. It's just kind of interesting how that one is, how it's lying out there. All right. All right, so today there's some big news this morning. Obviously, this ADP non-farm employment change is one of the newer guys on the block, and it's expected to be 1.2 mil new new jobs basically hired. Which is interesting because the previous last time was 167. So this has a chance to kind of give us a good spike this morning, right? If it is off, right? If the forecast, the actual is off the forecast. Now, what this will do though is this will kind of craft. If we don't see it now, what it's going to do, it's going to craft the language inside of the NQ, the ES, and the YM. Okay. And what do I mean by crafting language? Is again, if this number is good. I mean, even if it comes in at 1250, that's still positive, right? This is one of those times that the media is going to have a hard time, unless it's only like a million jobs. It's going to be hard to swing this one, right? And even if it is a million, you could still take a positive spin and say, hey, listen, it was up. There was 167,000 last time. It's a million, right? So I mean, this is one of those ones that it's very, very easy to spin positive, right? I mean, if it's above the forecast, there's really no way they can spin this thing negative whatsoever, Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't say there's no way because there's always a way with the media, right? Um, yeah, I guess there's always a way with the media, right? um, so yeah, there's that. Um, I'm just trying to think of other ways that they could spin this if it comes in as expected. I'm really having a hard time. Like I said, I believe the media will figure out a way to spin it if they really want to, right? I figure they'll do it. But for the most part, I think it will be positive. And if it's positive, we'll have all-time highs again with two of the indices, and the Dow will probably get pretty close, right? And I think this is interesting too as far as news goes. U.S. dollar Congress stimulus bill impasse may fuel U.S. recovery. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Again, an opinion article, but like I said, I think dollar recovery is something that it's I don't know. I would say dollar strength is kind of like an American ideal. They want strong dollar, even though it's not necessarily best for our exports. It's something that people are looking at. Look at this. I love this too. Trade in gold reserves after the demise of the classical gold standard. There we go. I'm telling you, my talk that is coming up is all about basically, like when I was asked to do the talk, it was at the end of July, and we got it ironed out. We got a title for my talk, and if you guys don't know what it is, I'm actually speaking about oil and gold. But it's been one of those things that I've had this, you guys know, I've had this bearish idea of gold for a while, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're crazy." No, gold's going forever. And again, I do agree that there's definitely upside trading in gold, but none of the things that would drive gold and inflation higher are technically current right now. So I keep talking about there's bearish this, bearish that, bearish this, and it's funny that now you're starting to see some other people start talking about the demise of the classical gold standard. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Thank you for catching up. So pretty interesting there. So today, non-farm is big. BOE, Governor Bailey speaking at 9:00. Also very important for the pound. Again, a lot of movement on this one. I do think Bailey could bring some real good stability and, again, clear up some of that uncertainty that there is currently in the market with gold. I'm sorry, not with gold, with the pound. The more uncertainty that is removed, the better off that one will end up being. There's just, no ifs, ands, or buts. The more we know about the pound, the more inherent strength that comes back to the pound. Okay, the reason why is because, again, think about it. Traders don't trade what they don't know. They trade what they feel. So as soon as we know kind of where the what they're thinking as far as the central banks inside of the UK are thinking, again, it helps clear up a lot of that, and that's a pretty big deal. All right. So I think that has some potential today. Definitely think that has some potential. What else we got? Obviously crude oil at 10:30. That'll be a big one. We'll look at that oil chart, and then again, I was thinking broadband. No, probably not too much movement there. I don't see him, really trying to move too much. Trying to think. That's probably it for the day. No, it's probably just going to be all kind of wrapped in. So obviously crude oil at 10:30 will give us a bit of a reversal entry as well. Based off the normal swing of the day. Although I don't think today, even if this number comes in, it's supposed to be minus 2 million, which is really not much. I do feel that with a really good non-farm employment change number, I do feel like that will give a little bit of an uptick for oil. And the reason why is more people working is more beneficial to more people driving, more jobs and everything. I think that, again, I think that will give us an uptick. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. So as far as news goes today, nothing in here that that's earth shattering that I'd be like, hey, check this out. Let's see. Let me close this real quick. I have to open it popping up on me there. This 20 entities making false registration claims, exports, income expenditure. Sure, the economy fell 7%. It's usually adjusted. Yeah. GDP fell. Sure. Near-term dollar rebound. Again, we've been talking about this one. No concern over exchange rates. Yep, he has to say that. This is the guy that 2 weeks ago basically was like, "Yep, we want a weak currency because of our travel season." And now he's like, yeah, there's no concern. We're not worried about it. Yeah, it's rallying across the board. Yeah, he's probably not happy about it. He may have no concern, but he's not happy about it. Very optimistic about elevated personal spending savings rates. I actually saw some conflicting data about this yesterday. This guy's like, yep, I love personal saving rates. I think we'd great, significant boosts. Right. People are saving, but not in the, I don't know, it was interesting. They were talking about, people saving for their kids and saving for college and all those. And those rates are all down across the board. That more people are saving, but they're not saving in ways that are necessarily considered positive for the economy. So, all right, so that's all we got. Let's go over and jump into the scanner real quick. Again, scanner today, big things that glare on me is this, yesterday this was straight up blue, right? These were, the Aussie and the pound were both blue. Again, seeing that reversal, the Aussie has come down quite a bit. And we talked about that being super, super high in the curve, being up in areas of supply, waiting for kind of a failure to go any higher. And we've kind of gotten those on some of the smaller time frames. They're saving for TP money now. Heck with the kids. Yeah, exactly, right, James? You got to store that stuff, put it in plastic bags because you never know, right? And then also, obviously, we're seeing the pound switch over. Again, Aussie and CAD are the only two that it's getting any type of strength. And again, the Aussie is the Aussie is collapsing. So the Aussie is the big boy, or I guess the biggest loser today is obviously the Aussie, and that's the only reason the pound has any strength. But otherwise, pound is all weak. And again, that speech today will kind of help give some clarity about that. Again, Aussie pretty much weak across the board. It's showing that it's strong versus the dollar, but it's down 127 right now. It says that it's an upward biased and maybe a little bit. Maybe I'll say it. Maybe a little bit. But for the most part, that one is just collapsing down. There's a Harry Potter trade on that one, and there's another one actually setting up right now. So, yeah, I wouldn't quite say that is strong or upward biased. Maybe in the last half hour, sure, sure, but not right now in the 4 hour. And then as far as the majors go, okay, so majors, we got a lot of stuff that's kind of in flux. Right. Obviously, the euro dollar, we know that one is not necessarily strong. Over the last day, it's down 121. Dollar yen, obviously, that one is good. New Zealand dollar, again, some consolidation. We're seeing consolidation. There we go. We just got an update. Aussie dollar, and a little bit funky as well. Let me click this, see if the news came out. Is it here yet? Is it here? Ooh. All right. So, yeah, that hurts. All right, so that's going to derail some things this morning because that is quite a large miss based off the forecast. Okay, now is it positive over what it was before? Yes. Okay, it's about 200. Almost 300,000 higher. Could the media? Whoops, I got all kinds of windows up here. I forgot I didn't switch that one over yet. Could the media spin this one? Sure. I thought we were in the chart section, but we're not quite there yet. Right? Not quite there yet. So. Now I'm trying to figure it out. I want to see the first headline. It's like, come on, give me the first headline on this one. The media could spin this really, really bad today, and this could really hurt the overall indices because, again, they expected big change, and we came in a third of what the big change is supposed to be. If this was the exact opposite situation, they would be all over it, being like, oh, my God, it missed. It missed. But it was more than before. So, yeah, it's positive, but, again, this will... I think you got to be thinking bearish for the indices today, at least till 10 o'clock. Crude oil could swing this around. This is not a good number for crude oil. Again, not as many people working as expected will also hurt crude numbers today. So that has kind of changed the entire thing. I thought we would be much, much higher than that. All right, so big surprise for me there as well. Let's see. Markets are... Let's see, this is on a 30. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a spike off that one as well because that's going to be, is going to mess some things up. All right, let's just dive into charts, and we'll just dive right into this one. So, that's interesting. Come on, I want to see the first bit of news. Man, they're not giving it to me yet. Come on, I know you're writing it right now. Somebody's writing it. There's something good being written right now. This is almost like when I wish I had the news on, because that is a big miss. Can you chart work? Yeah, Wes, I typically do extra things at the end. So I'll do that one in about 40 minutes. Yeah, I'll go over stocks then. But yeah, I can definitely do work. That's no big deal. Man, come on. I want to see a news release on this one. I want to see what they're going to sway. I really want to see how they're swaying it. Because I want to know if we should just be shorting right now early. Man, they're going to do it slow. thank you guys for the follows. I just got the notification popping up there. I appreciate that. And I'm trying to refresh it, but they're not giving it me. It's like, give me the news, guys. Come on. Somebody write an editorial real quickly about how bad this ADP number was and how horrible the economy is. Because then that's a surefire sign that we need to be shorting today. All right, we'll just dive into the pairs real quick, and then we'll see if that news pops out. So, Aussie dollar, we were sitting up over here yesterday, right? Pretty simple. Right here's 8 o'clock. Here's where 8 o'clock was yesterday. We talked about getting a short entry, and again, we were kind of stuck in this. This is a 4-hour / daily supply zone, so we were looking to get short, and the question was if we could find a decent entry to take this one. There was a couple of them. Again, we had this level here that was more or less like an area of interest that we talked about and said, hey, listen, it loves this, right? Popped here. This was a bottom, top. Upper, lower. So again, been bouncing back and forth again. We had a Harry Potter trade set up here, and we're getting pretty close to an entry. I still have it set down here. Now, obviously, this non-farm number is going to mess this one up a little bit. You can see it a little bit better on the hourly. What we're doing is we're looking for a break of 73.27, and we wanted kind of one of these kind of clearances below and a pullback. It's not quite there yet, but we may get it today. We're looking to really overtake this big white bar right here. Again, that was the last time we really had any true buyers stepping in. A little bit of a hiccup here. Again, the 1 to 3 is down in this range. The 1 to 3 is sitting, whoops, not that one. I want this one. 1 to 3 is sitting down here at 72.87. So you're talking about a 30-40 pip runner. So again, I'd like it to the downside. We'll have to see if this news has kind of derailed it. I want to see if we can get a bit of a breakdown and then kind of a pop and roll over. Okay. At this point, what I'd be looking for, and again, I can drop this down to a 30 to see if it's clean. It's all right. We'll move the area of interest down. And if you're looking to get kind of an added, kind of a smaller entry into this one, again, this is going to be the emotional response we're seeing right now. It probably will find something and turn and flip on us, and that area could be sitting right up here. So there may actually be a shorter term kind of short trade in here once all the drama from the ADP miss number is out. Okay. Typically that's something that, hey, listen, it's already happened. It's not really a future going thing. Look, it's already starting to pull back. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping this level doesn't have enough oomph. Again, it's only 8:30, so we have some time. But there'll be something smaller on this one. Again, this would be playing a retrace of that along those lines. So kind of have one short looking right here. Again, a break of 73.27. Another one could be a small entry up here at 73.55 based off of that ADP non-farm employment news that we have. And it may take an hour for us to get there, but there could definitely be a bit of weakness coming in from that one. Okay. Looking at Aussie yen. So Aussie yen is kind of a little back from where we were yesterday, right? We were talking about, again, it's having that same collapse, but this one having a little bit more stability, right? So we're sitting here right now. I can drop this down to a 30. We're sitting here right now, right? We go back to the 8:30 yesterday. We're sitting right here, okay? And we mentioned, yes, watch out for this white zone. That white zone will probably provide some buyers. The way that it based right before the zone, we need to watch out for it. And that's exactly what it did, right? So we kind of peeled over, kind of just went sideways, right? Dropped into that zone, like we talked about, and popped back up again. And we're still sitting there, okay? Now, I do like this one also negative. I do think this is definitely also in a bearish position for being high on the curve. But this one is a lot more consolidated in. There's a lot more things that it can run into, right? Decent buying zone right here. That is only about 17 pips below where the current zone is. So it's just not giving us enough room to run before we run into opposing zones, which makes this a little bit harder. All right, at least on the 30-minute. Hourly, you can still kind of see it as well as with that, that zone starts right here. So, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, as much as we'd like to get bearish, it's in a very hard position because it needed so much power to punch forward that we had all these levels of buyers kind of established here. So, again, it isn't a downtrend. It isn't a channel. For those of you guys that love fancy looking indicators, again, you could put, you guys could draw a channel, right here and be like, yep, we're channeling to the downside. So if you're a channel person, yeah, when it bounces up a little bit higher, it does have more room to run. But an area, at least here on the hourly, that you need to watch out for is going to be sitting right here. Okay, right there. And again, the way that these wicks are formed, it's an area that it's going to bounce. And there's just not enough room really to run to the downside to take, acceptable risk on this one for me to be like, yep, love this one. So again, still bearish. I mean, even on a 4-hour, we can see that we were very, very high. We had this level at 77.90. We were interested in finding shorts out of. It did have that really great punch through, and then it ran into all kinds of problems. But you can see how it's pushing down. Okay. God, there's just so many spikes in here. That's going to be the problem, right? It's going to be an issue on this one. So Yeah, bearish. Again, if we can get a really, really clean top in this one, right now we don't necessarily. I guess there's one here that's not horrible. Let me take these off. Let's see. Let me drop this down to 30. Yeah, it's marked off there. So I mean, you could probably get into something along those lines today, right? An entry right around. And again, if we can get this around 10 o'clock, that's perfect, right? Right around 78.01. Or 78 flat, you could do that one as well. Taking it down to 77, like 80-ish. So it's not a huge move. I think actually on this one, I think the 1 to 5 would probably be a better target. There is a little bit of a hiccup here around the 1 to 3, but I think 1 to 5, I don't think you'll have too many issues getting down to here if we can get a decent entry up top. Like I said, it's punch 1, it's punch 2, it's punch 3. If we go back up again, this zone should be completely gone, completely smoked. And we should be able to kind of get a profit target in that range. All right. From 73. I'm sorry, not 73. 78.01. All right. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, we're finally up to where we wanted to be, right? We had some areas up here where we said, hey, listen, if we can get up, we're interested on the daily, right? This is what it's looked like. It hasn't been, super exciting, right? We're looking to get up into 27.44 as a kind of a clean level, right? We wanted something a little bit cleaner, a little bit farther out of the range. And again, we've hit this level, this big, 4-hour zone a couple different times now. The best entry for us was at 27.44. As you can see, I mean, we're sitting here right now. We're sitting right here yesterday, right? So basically we had this one spike down and then it's basically done nothing. Right. And again, this was the U.S. market yesterday, pushed us to the downside. We had yen strength coming into the whole thing. So I wouldn't really say that this is a great tradable one right now. I mean, it looks really fancy. It's definitely moved in 24 hours, but really it's moved for 6 hours and then died on us. And then we had a 1-hour burst and then it's flatlined again. So what that does is it does give us a shorter time, a shorter time from entry if you really want one. Back up in that blue level, you can see the zone that we hit, the zone that the indicator is marking off right now. It's not horrible, right? It's not the ideal kind of level to get into, but in a market like this that's more sideways, it's about the only thing that we got going for us right now for this pair. This zone right here, it has marked it off. It is a drop-based drop. Nice push out of it. But I'd be very cautious because it spent so many hours sitting in this zone. The true question is how many established orders could you have left in there? I do think if you want to get something smaller, again, we do have the 27.44 entry, which is still valid if we can get there. But we do have a level up here at 26.89, 50 pips before that may give us an entry sooner. And again, decent level, right? Popped up, kind of base, one last attempt, failed, and then again, nice strong red candle, a base below, and a red. So the red, green, red confirmation on the out, coming out of it. So that's decent. The risk on is rather small as well. You're talking about 16 pips, so it fits into our wheelhouse for an intraday trade on this one. Longs, okay, longs are a little bit harder in this one. Again, we have a big area here where again, nice punch off in this level. I do like the punch off in this level. Question is, again, we got a wick here, a wick here, a wick here, and a wick here. So there's a bunch of different buyers stacked into that level. And you can see that the indicator has marked off this zone here that it's likes. But if we look to the left, you can see that is actually a prior level starting really right here is kind of where that level comes in. I think it's probably okay. Again, nice, huge bounce off of it before. And again, it was the bottom, but I probably wouldn't use the indicator. I'd probably be a little bit more conservative in there if we can get back down to 125.21. That'd be an area where I'd be interested in getting buys. This area here, although I do think there is buyers in there, I think that'll give us enough of a resistance. And again, for the amount of risk that we'd have to take in there to get the true level out of that, as well as their basing here, I just don't think that it's worth it risk to reward wise for us. So I think 26.89 is on the top, 25.21 on the bottom. When we get to either of those two, again, we're ready to pull the trigger. Okay, pound yen. Pound yen, and we mentioned this yesterday, that we had a level up top, but we saw it. So, here's where we are right now, 9 o'clock, and then here's where we were yesterday, okay? Right here. And I even said that this could potentially be the top if we get a failure to go higher, that, again, this would be the entry. Well, there you go. There was your pullback into this one as well. And again, you guys look at the bottom, there's 15. 15 is right here. So when we were talking, we said if this is the top, the candle formation is there. This could be it. Well, that was it. That was the entry. It was a rather small risk. It was only about 15 pips to the downside. And again, very, very quick trade. It did enter into the zone, so you would have been able to take it. Obviously, the upper time frame target or the entry obviously didn't reach it. But there was your trade for last night inside of the pound yen. Okay, you basically blew right through your 1 to 3 and your 1 to 5. And again, we talked about this. Again, this would have been your target level. You wanted to make sure that I'll just use this one. This is where you would have wanted to have your target, and we were okay with it because it was right below your 1 to 5. All right, and again, what did it do? It bounced off the white zone that we had marked off and came back up and is now hitting that same level. All right, so again, would I take that trade again? Did I have 2 there? No. Okay. Probably not. Like I said, it was worth kind of an intraday. Why is it not? There we go. It was worth an intraday kind of move, but as far as something longer, I don't know that I would take it again. It did have a good touch, so I mean, I can't say maybe I wouldn't take it again. If we can coincide with a kind of a UK Open or any type of UK news, there's probably another short in there. This was a great little touch of it, and it did base right below. So probably worth one more. Now, if this was like a 3 o'clock in the afternoon thing, would I take it? Probably not. Like an 8 or 9 o'clock at night thing? Probably not. But a UK Open or a US Open, yeah, I would probably take either of those two. I don't think those are bad. Now, I do think we will chop a little bit back and forth. There's a bit we got to go through here on the hourly. You can see it. Again, here. There's a bit here, a bit here. So really, I don't think any buys are coming in until... Let's see. This is just one of the ones we drug over. Probably back down in here. Let's see, 30-minute wise. That zone's not a zone. Probably. 1, 2. See, that's not even fresh either. Probably. There's a short sitting over in here. Okay. I'd probably use this for the short. Again, the 1 to 3 gives us enough space in there. A little bit of a hiccup right here. You guys can't see it, but right here. Right. Probably a short there, and there is also probably a short sitting right here. A little hiccup there as well. Yeah, so it looks like there's 2 potential shorts in here. I'll mark these off yellow just so we can kind of, again, keep these on our radar as far as potential errors. And again, the reason why is these, old become new, right? Old become new. There. And we could use the white, but we just didn't get an entry for Harry Potter entry on this one. Although, again, is not a bad. We'll actually delete it now to take it off just so we don't confuse. Oops. There we go. Something along those lines. So again, short here, short up there. I think either of those two is good. And again, I see this one rolling back for a number of different reasons. Okay. So here was a trade from yesterday. Kind of the same idea. We talked about getting to this one as well. And again, this was one that I grabbed. This one actually ended up coming all the way down. Now, it did mess with us. It was one of those ones that it's like, really? It ended up coming within, was it 4 pips of its, profit target. I turned around and looked at it again, and next thing was up here. It's like, really? Really? But it came back up again and ended up punching all the way down. So it was one of those ones, just walking away was the best thing to do. And again, I didn't look at it. I was like, oh, almost out. I looked at it again. It was up here. I was like, really? And then I came back and looked at it again, and it was already over here. So, but same idea. Remember yesterday we talked, guys, about being in this upper, again, the upper 4-hour zone again. Finding, there was your touch. If we wanted to refine it and make it smaller, that's what we were able to do. I'll do it down here on the 15, just so you guys can see it a little bit better. And again, what happened, it punched into the zone, and what I said was, if we were able to punch down and retouch that zone, that would give us a lower level of risk than taking the entire zone. And that's what we got. It came down here. It ended up triggering again at, about 9:15, 9:30, right? 9:15, 9:30 is when we came back up into that zone and ended up hitting it. So it was right after chart school that it actually triggered. But again, pretty simple, right? 4-hour zone, we hit it. We didn't want to take the full, the full area. We wanted to shorten it. And again, even if you had taken the full area, right? Even if you had taken the full area, we are out, right? So it didn't matter. If we touched it here, you guys got short, or used the smaller intraday time frame, you were out either way, right? If you use the full level, again, it was a nice trade. You were out in the middle of the night for 103 pips. So again, decent day in the pound yen, regardless of which one you took. Okay, either one was completely, a completely valid entry. Off the large time frame, off the lower time frame retest. Again, it's up to you whether you're going to be more of an intraday or more of a swing, longer term trader. Both of them are good to go. At this point, again, I do think this one will continue to push a bit lower. You can see that, obviously we had a bit of a spike, but it's continuing to kind of maintain its trajectory. I do think it will have some issues in here. So what I'm thinking is, right now, when I'm kind of looking at, is 133.13. If we can get into this level around 10, I do think that this will probably provide a bit of a bounce. Again, it's just been straight down in the last really kind of 24 hours. That's a lot in one direction. And again, not that it can't do it, because again, here's proof that it can do it. But you see, again, we punched up, and then there was this kind of pullback, right? Pull back down all the way up, and then there's a bit of a pullback up and down. So now we're kind of pulling the direction. So this bounce off of that for me would also be more of a kind of just a pullback in a larger kind of down pull, and I do think that will continue. Now, there was a Harry Potter trade that we had established in here before. This yellow over here, I mean, I could extend the yellow across to there. So that's kind of one thing that I'm looking for. But with this 133.13, if anything, I could see it coming down, bouncing, stabilizing, pulling back up to there. I want to see what time it hits this level. Also, what the base looks like. Is it just a touch? Is it a spike? How many candles is it sideways before I'd be willing to take a short on that one. But I do think, again, we have this area marked off over here. You can see the 1 to 3 levels here, the 1 to 5 levels here. I do think there's a short, and I do think price targets of 31.99 or 32, I think are definitely in order. I do think we will come back down to here. It's about getting the proper entry on this side with the appropriate risk. But here was our trade from yesterday, and again, this was a good one. Either one would have worked had you taken the large one from the chart school entry. Even if you took the 4-hour risk zone, guys, 103 pips in 24 hours off of that level yesterday. Okay, Euro pound. Yeah, so Euro pound is still running away from us. We're sitting here right now. We were sitting here yesterday, and again, really, it just went sideways, and then UK Open, boom, it spiked down, and that was it. And now it's rallying back up again. So I wouldn't say there's been too much movement. I'll erase this just so we can keep the charts a little cleaner and see. But again, here's where we were yesterday. It did nothing but base and go sideways. And I said we were going to continue to grind. We may get a little bit lower, but even the one spike this morning that came in at 4, the UK Open, again, it's rallying right back up again. So, there's really nothing differentiating this pair right now. Again, 4-hour wise, you can see we are still sitting low in the curve. We're sitting in an area where we're expecting price to bounce. And again, that's kind of what we're seeing right now. It came down, touched it, and is now bouncing back again. But, am I willing to take this one long right now? Not really. I mean, I think Bailey speaking at 9 o'clock will provide some movement in this one. And again, if we can get some type of a confirmation higher, I do think that wouldn't be bad. If Bailey is a very, kind of dovish speech, if he's negative at all on the economy or recovery or mentioning things about having to close down again or, willing to close down again or a longer than expected recovery time, I think those are all valid things to kind of get along this pair for Euro pound. But as far as trading it right now, I'm just using it as a proxy for the other two. I don't think this is, again, just not enough movement for me when we spend, 20 hours sideways and have one candle that spikes, right? Euro dollar. So euro dollar, again, also hit that upper time frame that we talked about, right? Here's where we are now. We were sitting right here yesterday, and we talked about, again, being a little bit, already starting to move on us a little bit early, right? But there was the zone. We didn't get the punch through. We got the push down. And what did it do? We had a level drawn here for targets at 1933. As you can see, it hit the targets at 1933 just a few hours after we mentioned them, right? We also said if we could get a break of that level, again, look for a Harry Potter. And then we did. It dropped, it stabilized, it came back up, it grabbed it, and it continued to punch down through the 1 to 3 and the 1 to 5. So yet another example of, again, using these levels as targets first, as entry second. And again, the short entry from yesterday, target, re-entry, lower. Okay, so your first move here was about 50 pips. Your second move for the 1 to 3 was 35. The second one was 58. Okay, so great positioning. Now, we do have this other Harry Potter setup down here. It hasn't triggered yet. I mean, it's super close. Has not triggered yet, and I'm afraid that it's not going to. If I had to draw kind of a new zone here, I would say, listen, we got a little bit of a zone right there that it's looking to get short off of. Obviously, the dollar news spiked us in, so this is actually in a retracement mode right now. I'll move this Harry Potter risk to reward down, and we can push it over here. You can see it's a rather small trade, retracing it back to the origin and the move. Again, not a bad little kind of news-based trade here, right? Spike up into a zone. I think the risk is tiny on this one. 7. Obviously, I'm with you guys, so I have not traded this one myself. Kind Come on, get on the thing. Right there. Actually, it would be right there. Hold on. It's fine. It's just a drawing. But yeah, so there'd be probably a retracement. So I don't think this Harry Potter is going to get triggered. The way that it's punching in, it's not giving us the kind of drop below. And again, it's punched through a few times and establishing levels on top. So, I would say areas that we need to watch out for target-wise. Like I said, I do not think we're going to get this full, this clean entry here. I think, 117.80 today is probably decent. I think we will have a hard time once we start entering... I think this level right here, 118.18, is going to be an issue. If we're able to get down to that level by 10, which maybe we can get down there. Let me see, how far are we? It's about 40 pips, maybe a little bit harder. This could be like an 11 or 12 o'clock. There may be a bounce off of that. Again, that would be kind of things that could make this one move. Would definitely be a media release of some sort. I don't know, depending on what oil looks like. This could be like a tweet. This could be like a tweet trade, but I'm okay with it bringing back down there. I think if we can get back into this range, I think it's going to have some problems. Ultimately, though, I'd like this to come down and target 117.35. That would be my kind of eventual downside target. Again, it's an area here where that is untested. Again, this has been hit a few times in this area. This 117, the 117.80. 117.35 is definitely my target for the downside. And again, like I said, we got one Harry Potter in here. I just don't know if we're going to get the cleanest of entries. And again, we're in a short position right now. You should be technically in a short position right now, but I am not. Obviously, I was broadcasting to you guys, so I wasn't able to place it online. But Harry Potter, you guys should have grabbed this short from yesterday. Again, either one of these two were simple trades. You guys should have been able to grab both of them. And again, we talked about this one. We mentioned this one yesterday. Obviously, it triggered later in the day, but nice continued fall. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD came back up, and we talked about how this was consolidating kind of back and forth. And, there was a little bit of a trade. We talked about a zone over here and taking this. I'll delete this one now. We can get this one off the radar. But the best zone right now is this 130.83. It's a level that, again, it's been touched twice. It's done pretty well. It's actually a wick over wick. We mentioned it yesterday as being kind of a clean kind of turn point, but I wouldn't say there's too much in this. If anything with this pair, I'd say as fast as this ascent happened, there's a trade short in here. Okay. There is a short entry to take over this piece right here. Okay. Probably from there. I mean, again, this is going to be an area we'll have a little bit of hiccup on. I don't have a clean entry for this one right now, guys, but I do think 130.83 has been a good touch. I mean, again, touch, front run. So we're positive that there are some sellers there, right? Because there's no way that price would have been able to get turned around this many times if we didn't have sellers. The chopping back and forth is kind of like, ugh. I mean, it takes the wind out of your sails because, again, it's going off. It's bouncing off the right areas, right? I mean, here was our top side. It created a bottom. It hit the top. It hit the bottom again. Almost hit the top. Hit the bottom again. So it is channeling the way it should be channeling. My only kind of fear about taking it short off of a break of this green level is we do have this pop right here. Okay, this is a decent drop, a sideways move, and a nice pop higher. I mean, it's a legitimate move. So what I'm kind of thinking is we're going to have to take, and again, I don't even know risk to reward wise if it's going to make sense for us. Actually, I guess it would. It'd be something along these lines right here. Again, if we could, let's see, change this off of green. It's funny. This is the boys' color for their team color. This is navy blue. But I would have. We call it lime, not chartreuse. I didn't realize that chartreuse was green also. Something along those lines. Again, a Harry Potter break of the downside. Now, again, does it have to move a bit? Yeah, absolutely. But I think this zone right here is going to provide a bounce, and it may even come down and bounce off this level once or twice before we get the entry. But kind of what I'm looking for: 30.84, as well as a break below 130.37. To the downside. Now, dollar Swiss. There we go, guys. So we were talking about 90.91 being a level we were interested to get short of. Well, it happened quick. It came up, it snagged the level in one news spike, and then poof, went right back down and hit the target and then bounced out. And it did exactly what it was supposed to do. This is where it should have came back to grab, and it did grab mortars and go higher. So, at this point, the next one was 91.32. It came up and grabbed those and has also pushed back down again. So it's been two quick trades. If you guys remember Monday, we said, hey, listen, we're going to draw this line. We'd like for price to get up here before news, right? We'd like news to get it there. Well, it needed news yesterday to spike it into that level and provided this. This came in at 10 o'clock. Okay, 10 o'clock. So what do I tell you guys always? And again, if you guys can't see it, it's down here at the bottom, right? If you guys want to zoom in, I'll stop moving the cursor so it doesn't move on you. But you guys can check it on your own charts. What time did it hit that? I don't know if you guys can zoom in enough. 10 o'clock in the morning, right? So if we can get a 10 o'clock entry, right, for something like ISM manufacturing, right here, here's yesterday, ISM manufacturing number, right? What do? We spiked into the zone at IM manufacturing and then boom, retrace back down and you're out at your profit target at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Okay. Actually, I guess it tagged it finally at 11:30, right? Or at 11. So it was a 1 hour trade and it moved about 25, right? So again, not a huge trade, but it was off of a very small zone anyway, right? But again, nice movement, very, very fast in and out. Same thing happened up top. So right now, what do we do with dollar Swiss? The baby's awake. She's running through the hallway. Right now, again, you guys can see here's the touch and there's the pullback down for this one. Remove that one because that was touched. Right now, let's see. We can drag this one across. You guys can see you're out of that trade as well. Let's see. I feel like this one's going to push down. I'm trying to figure out where we could get our next entry in. I'm kind of looking at this level right here and saying, not bad, right? Again, this level of basing is great, right? When you get levels like this. It's this that I don't necessarily like. Probably, guys, something along this. I mean, I want to see how, kind of how it hits in. But most likely a break of 90.85 would be a nice kind of push to the downside. The 1 to 3 is a little bit past where I'd like, but I think, again, I think we'll be okay there. Not bad. Now, I'm not going to take another another short off of this 91.32. It's driven about 60% of the way in, and again, this is where it was formed. It may be worth one more hit, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to be looking for 91.52 as my next one, and taking something along those lines for a topside trade. Okay, and again, that's at 91.52 short, back down. Okay. So break of 90.85, I'm short, and a touch of 91.52, I am short as well. Now, dollar yen. So dollar yen, here's that level that we talked about. We didn't hit it yesterday. I'll extend it across. You guys can see what we just bounced off of right now. So again, it is turning from that level. We are still kind of smack dead in the middle here, right? This is where we were yesterday here. I still think we need to respect this one to the top side. Again, when it breaks through this level, we're on the 30-minute. There's nothing slowing this down. I think 106.90, again, last time when I told you to wait, this is the response that we got from waiting. There's nothing in here that screams buy or short. This is just the hiccup that we talked about in the middle. I think we need to wait again. I think this is kind of a wait till we come up or down. And again, I'll bring this across so it's more in touch. But the 105.34 and the 106.90 are top and bottom. We're sitting in the middle again. Small intraday trade right now based off of news. The news spike down only provided 16 again. It's not really like an area we want to be getting crazy with, but again, if you really want to get into something long, if you do feel that there's going to be more dollar strength into the market, you could take a continuation pattern to the top side. Take a Harry Potter. Your 1 to 3 is totally fine, right? It's here. Your 1 to 5 is a little bit on this other side of this wick, but again, you're probably good, right? And again, that would look like a punch through the top, a pullback, and then a punch higher, based off of this racetrack over here on the left. So, we may or may not get in. We'll see what this is. Again, the news today was quite a miss. We'll see if we have enough buyers to help kind of rally this thing higher. But that's what we got for there. NQ. So, yeah. The only good thing, and again, this is the 5-minute on this one. The only good thing about the way that this top is formed is at least this gives us a decent kind of level to the top side. Okay. Don't know if we're going to need it today, particularly with that news, but there is what the entry would look like to the top side. With the with the number today being as bad as it was, I think this is going to have. Hey, unless the media has subtly turned into nothing but optimists, I do feel that this one is going to have a harder time going higher today. Reason why is, again, that was a big miss. 800,000. That's a big job miss. Maybe oil can save us. Maybe somebody can say something. Maybe somebody will tweet and talk about how everything we're going to backstop. I just feel like today will be a day that it's going to pull back and look for some, for some sellers. Now, again, based off of that news, again, we did have a top that was put in, and again, there is technically a short entry in here. But again, you taking that short entry is being quite aggressive based off of news and everything else. And it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, the market knew, right? The market knew. It put a top in at 6 o'clock this morning. It pulled down and then came back up in the news at 8. Helped us retest this thing lower. You could say that, but I wouldn't have messed with that as kind of the high, right? But anyway, I do think this one has a long higher. Again, look for a break of approximately 12,462. Again, my numbers are going to be a little bit off. Use the body on the 30-minute, the green body, to draw that one. Actually, hold on. That one is not. No, hold on. We're going to do it off of there. Yeah, right there. No, stop. There you go. Yeah, so it's a break of approximately about 12,460. If we get a break above about 12,460 would be kind of where we wanted to pull. Like if this breaks through, a pullback of about there. Remember, use this green body as our launch point. Wait for it to punch through. Wait for it to pull back and go. And we'll do it today. Probably not. Like I said, the media is going to have to become a whole bunch of optimists really, really fast for them to drive this thing higher today. S&P. Okay, so S&P has also given us same type of entry, right? We got a little bit better of a top, and you guys can see here was that kind of a top yesterday that we were looking for, right in there, right? And again, it didn't give us the best of pullbacks, but it did give us a clean entry to get in, but kind of the same idea. I don't love the top of this one on the 30-minute, but again, if we wanted to... If you're looking for an area to go long out of, potentially there. Like I said, I don't love this top as much, but that would be the top that I'd be looking to bounce off of for the day. Again, same thing across. Bring it over here. I don't think it's as clean. If I had to pick today, though, I do feel that it's going to come back negative. Question is, where is it going to stop? Probably, I don't know. I mean, on this 30-minute, you can see that we definitely have some basing and some popping off this level. So I think 35.27 will give us a little bit of a... I think that's probably a decent target for today to the downside, coming back to that level, right? I mean, unless the media suddenly gets super positive. You never know. Yeah, 35.25, 35.28 in there is probably a decent target. Obviously, there's another level here, a nice basing, and again, that was a prior level. Down at 35.19 could also be an area where we turn and roll off of. But yeah, I mean that unfortunately that negative number is not going to be not going to be super helpful. And you can see this one has had a little bit more of a rollover, right? Punch there. You guys can see where this is coming down to. So again, this one just kind of left us yesterday, never gave us the entry. You can see that this one really since, was it 6? Yeah, about 5 o'clock this morning, this one has been negative, right? So oh, I can't do it. It's the indicator. I'm like, wait, why can't I select that one? I don't even like the top of this one, but could that be the next kind of takeoff point top wise? Yeah, it could be. It could be. You guys can see we had that kind of a short position here, and again, popped up, dropped, pop, drop, pop, drop, and then base. It's like, yep, get out. It's not going short. It's had 3 attempts and it's not going any higher. Yeah, I mean, there's not even any great ones on this one either. Probably here is a safe area. I mean, there's one here too. I mean, it's a touch. I don't know. Time is it? 9:50. There's probably a reversal trade sitting right in here around 28,725. That's probably half decent. I wouldn't be as worried about it. Like I said, the last time price has been there, even in the overnight, it took a nice bounce off of it, right? An impulse correction move, impulse higher, came back to grab more orders, and then exploded off that zone. So it would be an area, like I said, on the short term that I'd be kind of, I think that's probably a decent level for a reversal today. Now, the only thing I'd be cautious with about that 10 o'clock today is, again, oil coming in there. But again, the oil does have the ability to touch the Dow. So this one probably has a long off of it. Again, if we don't have an absolute collapse of, the markets, like I said, it's like, let's see what they say. Let's see what the opening reaction looks like. It looks like the reaction wants to be straight down. So we'll see if that one can hold for the open. It may be below that before the open, but if this can hold for the open and we get a pop off of it and it comes back and touches it again, take this one long. Go for confirmation entry in the Dow. Now, gold. Bum, 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 bum. There was our trade from yesterday, guys. We talked about being all the way up there, finally touching. Again, here's where we are right now at 8:30. We were sitting right here at 8:30 yesterday. Again, I hate to be that guy and say that here's our profit target, but there's the result. By 10:30, 11 o'clock, you were already out of this trade with your full profit. And it ended up coming all the way down to your 1 to 3 had you used the full zone, okay, for gold. I would say today gold is probably in a similar situation. Again, not as many people working. Yeah, they're going to provide stability and everything else, which may get the inflation gurus out there a little bit. But for the most part, I don't think anything has really changed with gold. People not working is not good for the economy. It doesn't necessarily exhume confidence in the economy, which tends us to lead more towards recession, which is also not good for gold yet. Gold, recession recovery, sure, but going into a recession, not so much. So, there was our green profit target from yesterday. Again, your 1 to 3, even if you held the full 1 to 3 off the big level, and again, that level was formed off of this area right here, right off of this basing right here, and this explosion down. You guys can see it. I think we can see it on the hourly, right? Yeah, you guys can see it over here as well. It's this level. Actually, it's this level right here that we had marked off. So, yeah, again, I would say bearish gold today. Again, we'll have some issues with gold kicking in this level right here, about 91.50. And again, we've already kind of tagged it, but I would see this one kind of rolling today. It should be interesting. But most of the movement for the day, all the news that would affect this one is already out. Okay, but again, that was that good ISM manufacturing number driving the sucker down yesterday from Chart School. Okay, silver. Well, our target at 27.50 got hit. Finally, 30 minutes ago. It got really, really close. I saw this one, and when I saw it bounce, I was like, come on. I told everybody it was going to hit 27.52, and it did. It finally hit, and it kind of bounced off that level. So silver's kind of in the same area. There was a short trade in here as well. You guys can see it a little better on the 30-minute. Refresh those levels right to there. Actually, I guess you can see it better on the hourly, but there's a trade sitting right here. Okay. Right. And again, it was more news based at this point. It's kind of already over and past. Not much we can do with it. You can see we just actually missed the entry on that one. So just a small trade. But silver, again, at this point has finally been, it's kind of hit our target down here we've been waiting for. Going higher today, I would say we're going to have issues with this area. There's a little bit more above, and then this area as well. I'll move this green across. This level right here, I think, is going to give us some a potential short. Okay, it dropped into that level, stabilized for a bit, and then punched through. I think if we're able to get back up to, let's see, looks like that. Let's get over here, 28.40. So 28.40, I believe, is the next kind of decent short to the downside. As I said, we got to chop through a bunch of these minor levels. I'm hoping that it doesn't really form great demand on the way up, but I think that's a decent level. I like the way that it turned, and I like the way that it exploded off that level for another short. So let's pull up oil. Let's do trading view. Oh, actually, let's actually have a trading view chart up already. Hold on. Let's see. Here is the Swiss trade yesterday. Saka, we asked this yesterday about where that entry was. You can see that right now the bottom is 12. We were right at the top yesterday. Right? Let's get this going. So I mentioned being short. Well, Saka, there you go. You drop down what? Whoops. There you go. 72 pips. 72 pips, and we're basically in the same area right now. You're about 60 pips down on that one. So hopefully you were able to get into that trade short from yesterday. Okay. Nope. Don't need that one anymore. All right, so let's switch us back to oil. Let's go to U.S. oil, WTI crude. Oh no, where did everything go? No. All right, so it looks like we lost our drawings on this one finally. Man, we were doing so good. We had kept all those drawings on there for so long, and now they're all missing. I guess we have to redo them. Anyway, So we know that we have levels that we need to watch out for here, right? We know that we have levels to watch out for really, but in a couple different areas down here. We'll put you guys right here. Okay. So right now we'll drop this down to a 30 minutes. And now I'm mad. I feel like so let me tell you guys, yesterday I was looking into TradingView, looking to see, I've gotten if you guys in chat are using TradingView, please let me know. I have been debating going back and forth, getting the indicators, drawn. So when I say the indicators, these lines are indicators. These are my supply and demand indicators, right? They got a little bit of secret sauce in there, but I'm debating getting them programmed for TradingView. I have Matt kind of looking into it. I know you can import, custom indicators in here, and there's like a library of things like that. When you do indicators, you have my scripts, and there's also kind of ones that you can get here. So if you guys use TradingView on a regular basis, let me know if this would be something you guys would be interested in. And then I would just basically use this platform. It'd be a little bit easier instead of running everything through MT4. I trade on MT4, but I just feel like so many people are asking questions. It'd be easier just to pull it up with TradingView, right? So TradingView wise, yesterday, again, where we were talking, we mentioned that we had levels sitting right in here. And the people that have asked for additional stocks and things like that, I would be using TradingView for that anyway. So that's why we switch over. You do together with MT4? Okay. But no practical experience with it yet. Okay, good. Yeah, it looks like a couple of you are using it. Kashi, again, I'll be using that with this one. So there was a level that we talked about yesterday, taking drops out of. And again, we had a decent drop. Again, there is some consolidation on this one. Again, there's another level down here that things have been bouncing off of. So, 43 is kind of the holding point right now, right? 40, we mentioned yesterday that really actually a little bit higher. I guess it was in here at 50, right? 42.50 and kind of 43.50 seem to be the tops and bottoms for this. Now, price is not in a great area right now. We're really kind of in between the two major zones. And again, there's a minor zone here that's been respected a few times. But this one would be hit really number 4, and it got hit pretty deeply. So I don't really think that 42.80 would be a takeoff point today. We still have about another hour and a half until we get to oil. And remember, today is the oil inventory report. Right now, it's expected to be -2, right? 2 million barrels. So that's not really a huge miss. Again, we're seeing this oil go down over the last hour and a half because of the non-farm employment change number. Could it take a bounce off of this one? Sure. It could. It's got about 20 cents to go, but we really need to we have an hour and 15 minutes before we can get there. So I like the movement now. I want to see in 30 minutes what this is if this will continue to push lower. It looks like it's trying to, but I really want to know where it stabilizes before that news release. Areas on the bottom side, probably, really it needs to be in there, but that's a 20 cent zone. That's kind of big. Let's see. I guess I could shrink this a little bit into this range here. Probably the best, although I'm expecting a turn off of that as well. Let's do a ray. All right, so I really like the top side of this one better for getting a short. I don't like going long off this level as much. This level's been beat up pretty well, but we're not going to have as much room to the downside. So I feel like this zone is going to fail, but we definitely don't have enough to take this one shorter. It's only a 20 cent mover down. We need the U.S. market. So we got about 30 minutes before the U.S. market comes online. We need a bit more movement in this one before we can kind of come through. Like I said, the top, I think, is a little bit cleaner of an entry. I'm a little bit leery because this one pushed this zone literally to the brink right now. It's decent, but I still think that 42.50 would be an area where, getting the risk level off this one is going to be hard because of this candle. But something along... Something in here. That's a 4-to-1 right there. Something along those lines, if we can get there in the next hour and a half. What I'm kind of scared of is that... Is there a duplicate function? Clone or copy? Copy here? No. All right, so I don't know what that function does. Can I just clone it? Visual order. Clone it? Oh, there we go. I think either of these two is probably going to be okay. It's just what we can do if price gets this low. That's kind of what I'm worried about. Like I said, I love the movement down right now. If it stabilizes and bases in here, it's probably worth going long. But like I said, I think it's only 9 o'clock. We have an hour and a half till that news release. We got to really see what it's going to do about what level we're going to be able to use. But I think either of these two is pretty valid for today. But man, see, it's already moving. That ADP number is really messing with this one. Yeah, we've already dropped like 20 cents before the market's even open. Look, it's already running, guys. Yeah, it's going to be a harder one to again, I'd like to find a place to go long because there's so much negative sentiment in it. But I think, if this level can base and hold for the next hour and a half, we're good. But otherwise, I think 42.50 is where we're going to have to take a spike down to buy it and take that one long. All right. All right, so let me go through some of the things on here. It's clone. Yeah, I found it. Let's see. I'm going to go back. Somebody asked for work. I know that one. I don't remember who was it. It was in the very beginning. Let me see. Who asked for work? I can't find it in the scroll list right now, but somebody. Oh, there it is. Wes. Wes asked for work. So let's go ahead and do work. All right. $35 stock is good. I'm happy with that one. Let's see. Let's get off 15-minute here. Let's go back to a daily. Whoa, this one is all over the place. All right. Let's see here. So obviously we have earnings on September 3rd. So earnings are going to tomorrow. So volatility is going to be higher on earnings. Let's drop this down to a 4-hour, see what we got here. So looks like we are currently sitting in a level. Damn, it's not a clean level though. All right, so I got one here. I'm going to mark that off right now. Downside, I'm going to. Yeah, there's a gap right there. We're going to mark this from the downside. Mark those two off. All right, so let's look at what do we got now, and that's a 4-hour. Let's drop this down to an hourly and see what we got. Wes, are you looking to trade this one options wise, or are you looking more for? You're looking more for actual holding this one as a stock. So right now, we basically have a day of consolidation. So again, nice rally up, probably in anticipation for earnings. Because again, everybody knows that the earnings are sitting right here, right? Everybody knows they're there. So most likely, again, you can see that we really didn't have much movement all through August, kind of up and down. The response off of last earnings were here. So here's what we saw last time, a build up, and then all of a sudden, boom, earnings came down and they were a huge disappointment, right? And this thing just tanked after it rallied all the way back up again. In looking at this as well, I would like for it to be over here. I think it was on its way. Like if today was a great day, in anticipation, we may have also had a rally back up again. Unfortunately for this one, because earnings are one day away, the volatility is probably getting jacked up on this one inside of the options in preparation for that. There's a couple different ways to play that. I don't know how well versed you are in volatility crush scenarios. But this would be probably one of those ones that there would be most likely a volatility crush situation, basically selling that type of volatility. Again, this one is, looking at what this one has done previously, it had the same, it was in the same area, right? 33 down to like 28. If we look where price is right now, here's the 28 level that we were at before, and here's 33. Right here, right? So we're still kind of in the same wheelhouse without the big push forward. I don't know if they've pre-announced anything for this one or not, but if anything, I'd have to say I would be looking for volatility. Again, if you don't have this, it's very easy to search for it. Look for volatility crush strategies in a bearish direction. I would say that I'm probably a bit more bearish. I'd like to be, put it this way, I'd be interested in being bearish. I would say, hey, listen, buy like a put spread or something to the downside to protect yourself from disappointing earnings, right? But unfortunately, for you to buy right now, with volatility being this high, with obviously earnings one day away, it's going to be a bit more expensive, and you could get trapped into something where you purchase it to go down, it goes down, and you still lose money because the volatility and the premium got sucked out of it. Is kind of the one thing that I'd be worried about for work. 25K in savings here to learn. Any advice is greatly appreciated. Sure, Atomic. The best advice I would say is attend regularly. I am a price action trader, so I basically teach people how to read charts. It doesn't matter what chart we're looking at. So if you're brand new to this and you want to learn what technical analysis is about, that's the best way to do it is to attend. It's because it's free. What is that? RKT? Let's go ahead and do RKT. Rocket. All right. So Rocket, what do we got here? So Rocket is obviously doing well. Okay, let's pull this back up to a daily and let's see what we got here. So, lots of history on Rocket. All right, so that's always fun. Yeah, that's it. All right, so Rocket. I don't really have a whole lot to go back to here and look at, but let's drop down to an hourly and see what we have. You can see where Rocket has been great buys. There's obviously, we had a gap here. So again, whenever we mark a gap area, that shows a nice little bottoming in area. And again, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. So multiple opportunities to get long Rocket. We punched through to a new high. So this is running into the same situation that we have with like the NQ. Right. So whenever anything's at an all-time high, it's very hard to say, hey, listen, it's time to short it. Right. Because we have no data to base it on. We can't go back. Right. We can't go back. And, looking at this on a daily basis, there's nothing to go back to. Right. There's nothing to go back to. So it always makes it a little bit more difficult. So on an intraday level, you could kind of play things when it's inside of the range. And being at a high over here right now, there's not really too much analysis we can do on it. Intraday, you can drop this into like 30 minutes and kind of see if there's good buying levels. But right now, with the momentum that it has, all you're doing is looking for pullbacks. So, areas that, I would say are probably not horrible. Again, whenever there's a gap, you got to focus on it. You can see that here was the gap before, and when it hit it, it pulled back, and then hit it and pulled back again, and finally punched through that level. Now you're putting an area in for longs. So, a decent kind of area I would mark off is saying, hey, listen, the price comes back down to $33. There's probably some buyers in there. Why? Because again, we gapped over, we pulled back, it found buyers, and then was able to punch higher. Obviously, right now, market's not open. We need a little bit more movement, a little bit more data for this one. But again, if we're able to kind of rally up today, this would give you a potential area to buy going into future things, right? May give you a little bit more potential. The problem is with this level of analysis, we're not trying to use a crystal ball. Like, we're not using an indicator to say, oh, at this percentage, at this rate, even though it's never been here, we have no true data, we're going to buy or sell. We want proof that something has happened in a specific area. And unfortunately, we don't have it right now for this one. It's just too new. Yeah. Earnings were back here. Right? Yeah. Data on that right over here. So aren't they out already? Yeah. Earnings are back here. They should have been. That's weird. Because then I click on it, it says the second, but the second is over here. But it's saying that earnings were over here. Huh. I don't know. That's weird. But what I would say is, again, if this is rallying because of earnings, you're probably going to have a lot of premium baked into them. Kind of the same thing that I said before. And again, if it is earnings, again, if this is wrong, and again, it should be because it says the second, which should be over here. I don't know why that's doing it that way. Is there a news panel? I know there's a news panel in here somewhere. Notions. Let's see. One of these has news. Data window, alerts. No, it's not alerts. Is it this one? Rocket, here you go. It announces preliminary second quarter earnings. So they're already out. Oh, no, that's August 14th. So, this is interesting, too. So, their preliminary earnings have already been released a bit early. So, the news is kind of out there. And they're adjusted. So, yeah, unfortunately, with the earnings, I don't know why it's back here, but again, it's already preliminary. They've already got the preliminary data out. It's probably not bad. Again, this is probably a pullback. If earnings look good, again, I would say that this is a good takeoff point to go higher. I'd be careful with it. Again, just the lack of history makes it kind of a high flyer that everybody loves to have, right? Everybody wants it. not the best days to go long because of the news. But again, I think this is probably one that, until it tells us that the top is in, that it's probably decent to hold, right? Especially with buyers just, 90 cents below where we are. Okay. Anything else? Anything else you guys want me to do? I'm going to go ahead and start the contest as we wait for any other pairs. So there's a contest every single day, guys. All you have to do is do exclamation point ticket to get in. Everybody gets one free ticket. What you do is you accumulate pip chips. Pip chips are a way for you to earn channel currency. By watching the channel every morning, you accumulate, I think it's one pip chip or two chips, depending on if you guys follow or subscribe, etc. Every 10 minutes. If you go to the stream store at the bottom, you can see you can purchase indicators that I use. Most people use it for mentoring. Again, it accumulates pretty quickly. I'm pretty liberal with my mentoring. We can do basically what we do is we do a one-on-one Zoom session, right? I shoot you a link. We dial in. We talk for 35 to I typically go from 45 minutes to an hour, even though it says 30 minutes mentoring. We can talk about any chart that you want, any strategy you want, any setup that you want. Stock options, forex, or futures. We can talk crypto if you want, although I am probably more bearish than most on crypto. So if you really, really want to talk about it, we can, and we can discuss kind of chart patterns and things, as well as we can talk commodities. So anything you really want. But exclamation point ticket gets you in. I will give you guys about another 30 seconds, and then I will close this down and do the drawing. You guys know that I run out of coffee at 9 o'clock, and I am out. So I want to get to my coffee and make sure that I'm able to trade for the open. All right. So let me see. Is there anything else today? Doesn't look like anybody else is needing any stock or needing any stocks broken down. Just those. All right, so 10 seconds. I'll close it down. Yesterday's winner was Bay Street, I believe, right? Pretty sure Bay Street won yesterday. So if he wins today, he gets 100 pip chips, not just 25. All right, there we go. Let's close it down. Winner of today's drawing is Debbie. Debbie comes back on the win. So Debbie did a mentoring session. So obviously the mentoring session worked for Debbie. She's winning one day after. How many tickets does Debbie buy? Oh, Debbie only bought one. Look at that. Debbie only bought one. Neuro, man, she's handed it to you, buddy. She's handed it to you. Girls have a strategy, I'm telling you. They have a strategy. Debbie gets her 25. Look at that. She's like, I go in small, and then tomorrow she'll be playing with the house's money, and she'll be buying extra pip tips. Because that's the way that it works. 2 in a row, please. Bay's like, give me the extra. Give me the extra. Bay, just keep logging each day, buddy. So I told you guys yesterday I would let you know if I was going crabbing tomorrow. I have not talked to my assistant coach. I have to check the weather, but I will post it in the Discord channel to see if I'm on. Typically, again, we are typically on from 8 to 9. I live in Maryland. I haven't gone crabbing yet this year, and my buddy's got a boat and said the crabs are absolutely on fire right now. So I'd like to get out there and catch like a half bushel and stuff myself with crustacean for the next 2-3 days. But I will post it in Discord. If you guys don't see me on, obviously the next time we will definitely be on is Friday morning from 8 to 9. Friday 8 to 9 is going to be a big day. Reason why is, let me drag this in real quick. 8 to 9, we have non-farm. Okay, non-farm, average earnings, unemployment rate, which again has now been picked to be under 10, back down to 9.8, as well as some Canadian data. So a lot of stuff going on Friday. If I'm not on tomorrow, make sure you guys are logging in, and this is what you need to watch out for. Unemployment claims, which again, this will sway the media's focus on tomorrow. If it is above forecast, right? If unemployment claims is higher, prepare for a lower day in the NQ and ES, right? Media will take that and they will run with it. ISM manufacturing PMI also has the ability to do some good things. It is above 50 though. So again, if you click on it, you can see that if we are above 50, it is economic expansion. Even at 57, they can sway this and say, oh, it's less than 58. But as long as it stays above 50, it's not necessarily bad for the economy. But the big thing will be the unemployment claims. And then again, Bailey is speaking tomorrow if I am not on. If I am, again, we'll go over these tomorrow morning. But if not, again, make sure you guys get in here early on Friday. Non-farm is going to be, that's probably the biggest single release. ADP number today showing us that we are way down. Whew. This is going to be an interesting one, right? Because we were way off today. We'll see what the overall non-farm is. All right. So with that said, guys, I'm out of here for the morning. Good trading today. Make sure you protect yourself, use stops, and I will catch you guys either tomorrow or Friday. Have a good one.